Hello, Benjies. Welcome to BingeWorthy, part of the Geekish Network. We binge a show to let you know if you should. I am your host, Rakai, new from the Ville, and with me tonight we have the wonderful Courtney, Catherine, and Centel. Miss Courtney Skyright, please say hello to the people.
Hello, hello.
And next we have Miss Catherine Hicks. Please say hello to the people.
Hello from Memphis. Yeah.
That's right.
Barbecue
Memphis.
time.
That's
Yeah.
right. Barbecue.
Barbecue time. Yeah.
And Mr. Centel, say hello to the people.
Ooh, I'm about to make a name for myself right here. You make sure you tell them what went down tonight.
Wow. Okay. All right. Hello, Governor. All right. Tonight, we will let you know if you should binge watch The Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power Season 2. Now, in Season 2, Sauron has returned. Cast out by Galadriel, the Dark Lord must now rely on his own cunning to rebuild his strength and forge the legendary Rings of Power, threatening to bind all people of Middle-earth to his sinister will. Season 2 plunges its most beloved characters into a rising tide of darkness, challenging each to find his or her place in a world on the brink of calamity. Now, the most wonderful technical producer in the land, Rodney, will post our cast members' ratings for The Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power Season 2. While Rodney posts the ratings, I want to let you know that we rate the show at the beginning, and then at the end of our discussion, we see if anyone had a change of heart and we rate it again. So, Mr. Rodney, can you see what we came up with? How do we rate the show? All right, what we got here? Let's see. It looks like Rakai and Centel were both on a mini meal. And I can't see for anything.
2 full meals. And so it's 2 and 2.
2 full meals. Okay, that makes sense. So that puts us at a 3.5. So you round up to a full meal. Anyone like to give a little credence, a little explanation to their rating? All right, go ahead, Courtney.
I was debating between a mini meal and a full meal, and I'll just say that the reason I went up to full meal was because of the dwarves. Their storyline for me, like, they killed it. I really enjoyed Prince Durin and like Princess Disa. I enjoyed that arc. So for that, and then like and I know we'll get there, but like the closing scene when the king, when his father, made his last stand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Miss Catherine.
I actually like this better than the first season. I had issues the first season. So like I always love the dwarves. I want more dwarves, even more dwarves in the next season. Really just rather have a dwarves focused thing. I like the Sauron and the
Celebrimbor.
That what was happening there. I thought that was interesting. And yeah, I'm trying to think because I just watched a show after this show, so I've kind of blanked out on what I watched a little bit. But I like some of the action sequences were nice. And visuals are always great. I think I was just more engaged with what was happening. It felt like there was more there's more thought out storytelling elements. But there are definitely some weird decisions. It's not perfect. It still has issues. I'm just gonna cut it there because I don't want to ramble. But yeah.
Okay. All right, Centel.
They spent $500 million. $500 million. I probably would have given this a full meal had I not known the price tag. The price tag spoils everything. I did not get a $500 million worth of value out of this series. And small thing, the best part about this show to me is Galadriel. I love me some Galadriel, and they completely nerfed her this season. It's just like, it's like you bench Jordan, you bench Braun. Why would you do that? It's the best thing you got going. So I had to give it a mini meal.
Yep. I agree with that.
All right. Now, I think it's funny, and the audience should know that none of us talked about what we were going to rate the show before we got here. So when it popped up all of us were surprised at everyone else's rating. We didn't know. Centel and I watched these series of shows together on another channel, on his channel, and did reactions to them. And even though we arrived at the same places for different reasons, season 1, I like season 2 better than season 1. I thought season 1, I think season 2 is beautiful. I think I mean, it's not like the movies, but it's still beautifully done. Costumes, everything, the world, the lore, I love it. I gave season 1 a lot of grace for them setting up, kind of an established universe, but setting up this set of stories for the second age. But I didn't think it went anywhere. And season 2, I felt like we had more talky, walky, and the pieces of action were so few and far between. When they showed up, fantastic. But it was too far in between. And there's just certain stuff I don't even care about. So it just kind of hit the middle of the road for me. I was on the fence, just like Courtney said, I was on the fence. And as I was typing in my review to give to Rodney, I was going to put a 4, and something stopped me. I said, no, 3. Mini meal. Yes, Courtney.
Another reason why I couldn't give it a binge worthy, on top of the reasons that y'all just gave. Well, I didn't know it was $500 million, so that was news to me. I actually agree that I didn't get $500 million worth of value. But what really upset me, and I know that they, since this is where the season 1 ended, they didn't really have a choice but to continue it. But the 3 Elven rings, they were created last. They were created as a way to combat the One Ring by Celebrimbor, because Anatar comes in, and Anatar convinced him to make the 7 rings for dwarves, the 9 rings for men, and then Anatar makes the One Ring to control everybody, right? And so once Celebrimbor realizes that they got this unbeatable ring, that's why he creates the 3 Elven rings as like the one thing that is supposed to be not corrupted by Anatar. So they did it backwards, and he was supposed to have gone to Numenor with those 9 rings, you know what I mean, so he didn't even know about the Elven rings. To my and I may be remembering that last part about Numenor wrong, but I'm pretty sure I know that the Elven rings were created last. So, but again, they did it at the end of last season. I don't know if they didn't know they were going to get a second season. Yeah.
I thought the One Ring was created last, but I know that Elven rings were definitely created. I don't know. I just
they were definitely created. You may be right. They definitely were created after the 7 rings for dwarves and 9 rings for men. The Elven rings were created after that. But yeah, I mean, you could be right that the One Ring was created first, but I know that Anatar makes their One Ring by himself.
Yes, he does. And from what I remember, and I could be wrong because I read the books a long time ago, here's the thing. The reason why they did it the way they did it on the TV show is because they expect most people have not read the books. So they had to stay in line with what they've already established, which if you go back, and we watched this not that long ago, if you go back and watch Fellowship of the Ring alludes to that the 3 Elvish rings were also under the control of Sauron.
Yeah.
And that they were all made. So, because even the way that they announced the rings in the Fellowship of the Ring movie, they said the Elvish rings, the dwarf rings, the human rings, and then the One Ring. And they alluded to that all of those rings were under the control of the One Ring, which we know that that's not true. The 3 Elvish rings are not under control. They were made without Sauron's touch on them.
Influence.
But that was the way that they established it in the movies. And most people are rocking off this because of movies.
Yeah.
So because we already brought it up, and we're already kind of moving that way. I know I brought it up. How did you guys feel about the pacing and there's a lot of storylines. So how did you feel about the pacing and the through line, the story that we saw from episode 1 to episode 8 this season, as to opposed to what they did in season 1?
I felt
And
like
let me start with you, Catherine.
Oh, sorry. I felt like there's more like season one felt like moving set pieces. Like, you're watching the visuals, you're watching the journey, but there's really not a lot for me what felt like happening in between episodes. Here there's a lot of like different interchangeable like characters and actors and sets that are happening. And yeah, there's a lot of talking, there's a lot less action, but I feel like there's more compacted with characters in their stories.
Mhm.
And there's like a weaker episode. I'm just trying to remember what episode that was. It was like not this last episode, it might have been the episode second to last or whatever the later episodes. There was an episode where I felt like the pacing was off. I just can't remember what happened. Um, yeah, I know. Sorry, I started watching a new show and it kind of like, but
Yeah, it throws things off. Yeah.
yeah, but that's all I'll say about that.
Okay. Centel?
I think the pace was kind of like up and down. There was some times where I'm twiddling my thumbs, but then like when they do get the pacing right and give you the thing that you're looking for, which honestly I think it should be more action involved. Was episode 7 I think was brilliant, and it made up for a lot of things that I just simply forgot about because the 7 was so good. I was like, dang, I had to complain about it. Was it 2 or 3? Never mind. There's some cool action sequences going. I'll forgive you. So I think if they did more of that in some of the previous episodes, it probably would have made my grade go up a little bit higher. All that being said, I do believe that season 2 is better overall than season 1, and that does include the pacing. But like you said, this is a majority talking head picture, and for those that are like really steeped in involved in the lore, I'm sure it is just a bonanza of just awesomeness. I'd imagine if I had read that, I probably would appreciate it a lot more. But as somebody who's just coming to see the pretty pictures move, it can drag on a little bit.
Courtney?
I will say that it wasn't so much the pacing for me as it was the way the story was laid out. I think that contributed to what I can see as like issues with the pacing. It was just like the back and forth for me with like Elrond's feelings about the ring and where should we go? Should we go here? Should we go there? I mean, the confusion of like, oh, as much as I love the dwarves, it was okay, what's going on with the ring? Should Daddy take off the ring? Maybe we should look at the ring, and it was like, it was like a lot of, what I mean? I'm like, make a decision, So, and for me, that the pacing itself is dictated by the storytelling. And if you're repeating the same issue, scene after scene, episode after episode, that is going to delay the pacing because you have solved nothing and you've been asking the same question for 3 episodes now. So I guess that's where I'm at. Like the pacing, it didn't necessarily bother me per se. Like I did like the action when it was there, and I agree that they got into their heads about the talking head complaints about Galadriel being the focus point, and then they turned her into like the damsel in distress. I mean, I don't know how many times Galadriel has to get kidnapped and held hostage. You know what I mean? Like it again, that's a story point. You did it once. You didn't need to do it again.
Yeah.
So yeah. Sorry, I'm rambling.
No, you're fine, and I understand, and I agree with a lot of you said. Season 1, I gave it grace, and I know a lot of people complained about season 1 for a different number of reasons. I gave it grace because they were establishing what we were going to see. You know, sometimes, especially when properties are set up and done in live action, and a lot of people that are watching the live action movies or TV shows have not read the books. You know, the purists, the people who read the books, are upset. They're incensed because they're like, wait, they're changing stuff. They're making this all Hollywood, and that's not how the story goes. Why change it? And I understand, you know, you can look at it from both ways. We don't, you know, that book you read is 1,000 pages long. We ain't got that much time. However, you just gave me 8 hours of TV, and now it's, you know, 16 hours of TV. And I'm just like you said, we talked about the same ring. We talked about this same ring for 3 episodes. And then, hold on, now let's talk about some other rings. Hold on, now let's watch him make some rings. Hold on, let's go watch him get the materials to make the rings. I was like, God, Lord. And really, my problem with this is that the way I consume TV has now been changed. Anime, unfortunately, anime and other animated programs have changed the way that I'm consuming stuff. I don't have a whole lot of patience for a whole lot of talkie, walkie. You know, I watched X-Men 97, foot on the gas, 8 episodes, no stopping. We not stopping for stoplights. We not nothing. We going, you know, solo leveling, no stopping. This, I couldn't get through One Piece because it's got 17 million filler episodes.
No.
Right.
You know, Dragon Ball
That's
Z got 145, you know, filler episodes per season. I can't do that anymore. Let's go. Give me something. And to Centel's point, it's hard to remember, like Catherine was saying. It's like something happened in this one episode. It was good, but I don't remember what episode. It was in there somewhere. And that's how it is. You get an episode like episode 7, you like, yes, this is what I've been waiting on. Foot to the gas for that whole hour. And then I don't remember what happened to 6 episodes before that, because it was unimportant. Nothing happened. They talked and they walked. They made rings.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna come back to you, because I've heard it from you. I'm gonna come back to you, Centel.
Okay.
Galadriel
Yeah.
was the main focus of season 1.
Mm-hmm.
There was a huge outcry on the internet. Yeah, I don't know, people talking about the woke agenda, whatever. They did not like Galadriel being the focus of season 1. Where is Aragorn? Where is Legolas? Where is Gimli? I want the dudes. Why we got this girl out here? Oh, that was the outcry on the internet. That was the outcry. Big time.
So the sorry, I just wanted to tell you that the 3 rings were created last, but Sauron created the 1 ring in Mordor. In Mordor.
Like,
yeah. So
yeah,
like
you gotta roll your R's.
yeah, Mordor.
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 So like
yes.
So it was the 7, you know, 7 for dwarves, 9 for men, and then Anatar left and made the 1 ring for himself in Mordor. And then Celebrimbor made the 3 rings, but they were hidden because they knew that they too could be controlled by the 1 ring.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, so they for this season, we
And
come
sorry, I
back.
cut you off.
No, you're good. For this season, they nerfed Galadriel. And to Courtney's point, they made her an elf in distress. And after they nerfed Galadriel, they made Anatar, or Sauron. He moved to the forefront pretty much. I mean, even though we've been looking for him, trying to figure out who he was, his character really moved to the forefront of this season. What are your thoughts on not only these 2 particular characters, but then some of the other characters' development this season? I'm gonna start with you, Centel.
But here's my
You have the floor, sir.
I think 2 things can coexist. There's enough screen time in order to properly show Galadriel and to properly show Sauron. You can get that additional time by canceling things that we don't care about, like the Brandyfoots. I could not care less about them big-footed folk. I don't care. Oh God, please, why? So that could have been some crucial screen time that Galadriel could have used. Now, don't get me wrong. I do understand that they tried to be like, we're going to nerf her, but then maybe make Aaron Deere maybe a little bit more flexy. I don't know. Maybe they tried to go with the boyish, handsome face to kind of pull us in or whatever it was. But you are no Legolas, and you sure as hell ain't no Galadriel. But you did have some cool, interesting kind of like moments. Yeah, you had some moments where it was like, okay, that's kind of dope. But it was a terrible substitute, and you can tell that that's maybe what they were kind of maybe trying to do. And the young boy who's going to soon be king and cut off Sauron's fingers. I forgot his name.
Isildur.
Yeah,
Isildur. Yeah.
Isildur. You can see the potential, but it just didn't. I didn't care in season 2, unfortunately. And then of course, I really, really, really wanted to care about the sister that's queen, that's blind. But then once again,
Miriel.
Yeah.
Miriel.
You have no idea how bad I wanted to root for her. I really did, but it's just like I'm sitting there watching it like, lead, please. Felt like I had that stick and I'm just poking. I'm like, do something. Please, other than just be blind and helpless.
Yeah.
Everybody's just helpless.
You did.
Oh man, yeah, they really nerfed that sector story, city story.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That and the trio guy.
Yeah. So I think for them to do Galadriel the way she did is just an excuse. I think they're placating to a very loud part of the internet, but not necessarily a majority of the internet, and that is a shame and a waste.
Yeah, I felt like the criticism for the first season was like, it seemed like it was a mix of like the loud, racist, crazy, like, because I would always look at YouTube videos and try to see, okay, what are people's thoughts and all this stuff, and I just like someone making a comment of calling one of the dwarves Lizzo. I'm like, okay, I can't. So like, yeah, it was bad. I'm like, I had to stop. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
unavoidable.
Princess Disa, Lizzo. Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, it's like it wasn't until I found like Nerd of the Rings and stuff where I could find something that wasn't like racist and crazy. But very loud, definitely a minority. But it's sad. It is sad that they listened to that and nerfed Galadriel, and I hope they fix that in the next season. But I don't know.
I know I'm speaking out of turn, but I just want to say this about her real quick. I love what they did with her, because they made her strong and independent, but she had her dude's back, and she had it in uncomfortable ways. And I think sometimes when you're trying to convince somebody to do the right thing, it's not an easy conversation. And the way
Isildur's father.
No. What's her name? The dwarf.
Disa.
Yeah, Disa. Yeah, I liked how they did her. Because it wasn't just, I could do it all by myself, which she probably could have, but she was still trying to like make sure her dude was straight. It was like, I'm gonna give you these uncomfortable truths, things that need to be happen, uncomfortable conversations you have to have with your father, but I still got you. I thought that was dope, because it could have easily just been on some old, F the world, I'm gonna just sing these rocks to our freedom and keep it moving, and they didn't do that.
Yeah, even though like there was like cyber. Continue. Yeah. No, it was a weird small comment. It's not an important comment.
What were you gonna say?
There is some so it's something I noticed. I was just like, look at Diesel, say, oh, this person's awesome. She has like sideburn inconsistency. Every time I saw her face, she either had more sideburns or less sideburns, and it drove me insane. I'm like, come on, like she either has them or doesn't. Like they would come off and on in different shots. I know that's not important, but it
could have been worse. If you remember from the movies, when Gimli was explaining the difference between the men and the women dwarves to Legolas, and remember he said the women dwarves had beards just like the men. Like they could have shown that.
He did. They did in season 1. She had a little beard.
Yeah, well, I guess the sideburns are more beard, but like she had.
Yeah, because it went all the way down.
Yeah, but
and they pulled that back for season 2.
It was inconsistent. It was like
shaved.
It's just like I don't know what.
Get your edges right. Get your edges right.
Yeah, but
okay. Yeah. So moving on from the beard.
She's got Brazilian on her face.
Oh God. In terms of the characters that I really either could have done away with or didn't just get enough. We've already talked about Galadriel. But for me, it's Arondir. Like I agree, he is no Legolas, but he was super dope in season 1. Like he was one of the better parts of season 1 for me. And when the actress who played Theo's mom, when she decided to retire from acting and become an activist, like for everything that was going on overseas, she took a break from acting, and so she chose not to return. And so that's why they killed her character. And I feel like they didn't know what to do with him without her. And that is really disturbing to me, because he wasn't really necessarily, I mean, yeah, he was dating her by the end, but like, he's an elf. You could have got him back to the elves a long time ago, because his group that, he was watching that castle, like they all died. So you would think that like either that he would have like gone to find Galadriel, not just happened to run into her, and then on top of like Isildur, like honestly, I wanted more of the horse, because that horse was damn good. That horse saved his life. I needed more time with him and the horse. Like, why is the horse more interesting than the Brandyfoots? Yes. Okay, why is the horse killing it? Why is the horse more interesting than the orcs? Like the one orc dude who doesn't know what side he on, and then go flip the switch just to go like, oh, he seems nice. You didn't know this dude 35 seconds. And you're like, I'm gonna trust him? Like, come on, man. Like I feel like Adar, like again, you switch the actor, and now all of a sudden you don't know who your character is anymore, because like you got a different person portraying the role. And he didn't have the grounding or the gravitas that the first actor did. Like he was a little bit like Killmonger for me in the first season. Like, I mean, I can't say he's wrong. He's not right, but he's not wrong. You know what I mean? Like, so like all these things that are, and maybe they're side characters, but they all have their own strong point. And that was the cool thing about Game of Thrones, is that everybody got their own clear storyline in the first 6 seasons. And it was like rooted and grounded. And this, they just didn't know what to do with as many characters as they had, in my opinion. Like as much, and like people been wanting to see Tom Bombadil, because he was such a, amazing character in certain stories in the books and stuff like that. And then you just kind of wasted Bombadil, and you blew us getting his name because he created, because Grand Elf. I'm gonna be Gandalf now because they call me Grand Elf.
Man, I didn't like that. I didn't like that whole
thing. Chose his own name. But anyways, I'm done. Soapbox over.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Catherine.
Oh, no, continue. I need to stop interrupting. Sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't care about the great value hobbits.
Make-A-Wish hobbits.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm done. Not the great value hobbits.
I don't even think they're great value. They just save a lot. They from Save a Lot.
Yeah, I mean the Shortfoots are the Save a Lots
from the Piggly Wigglies.
Yeah.
The great value hobbits. I'm done.
Yeah, I could deal without those. And crap, now I just got stuck on great value hobbits. There was more I was going to add to this.
I'm sorry. It was.
It's actually fantastic. That's already. I'm already designing the shirt in my head.
Yeah, continue. I forgot.
So I really agree with everything you all said. I could not care less about these great value hobbits, and I like that's stuck, Catherine, already. Yeah, that's stuck, and that's gonna be there.
The great value hobbits, they'll get there eventually.
And yes, we find that these hobbits, when they run into the stores, and there's one more group of little people that are the eventual ancestors of the hobbits that we see in the movies and stuff. But again, I don't care anything about them. I think, and we called it out when we was watching it, that I thought that the dude who was after the stranger, I was like, he looks like maybe a younger Saruman. I said, but if they really wanted to do something and make it amazing, you would make the stranger Saruman, and show that at one point he was good and he was concerned about his magic being hurtful and all that. Like that would have blown me away because
that would have blown me away.
Yes,
yeah,
that would have
I
made
kind
me.
of figured it was Gandalf like the entire time. So, for him to come up, I'm gonna call myself Gandalf. I don't remember my old name, but I'm the Grand Elf. So blah, blah, blah. I don't care. Don't care about any of that.
I felt like it was cheap that they made. I was worried that it was gonna be Gandalf. I'm like, okay, it seems like Gandalf. I'm like, why don't you just make introduce like a blue elf or not blue wizard or like Saruman's a great
something.
Yeah,
it's like they were sitting around the white writing room. Is like, you got something? No. You got something? No. Well, let's just call him Grand Elf. We'll call it Gandalf.
yeah.
I could not care less. To Courtney's point, I absolutely hate what they did with Arondir, our knockoff beige Legolas. Because for one, once the mother died, I really still back then he reminded me of Tariq Saint Patrick. Like I couldn't stand Theo's character, the son. I still don't like his monk ass. I don't like that little boy. Don't care nothing about him. You know what I'm saying? If he got captured by orcs, if he got captured by the people working with the orcs, I don't care. Good riddance.
Yeah, the Ent should have eaten him. The Ent should have eaten him and all his little friends.
It'd be more interesting.
Yeah, they introduced for a short minute for no reason. Isildur has a love interest in the little beige girl.
Well, she's the future queen.
Wait, sorry, I'm trying to get their faces. Isildur.
She's the one that had the mark on the back of her neck that was trying to hide it. And,
that was dumb.
Yeah, and then her boyfriend Istrid. Yeah, that's his wife, his future wife. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it is. But it's just like, but they gave us, a minute of her, her other little dude, her side dude who been building a house.
Who had to come back.
Yeah, he stepped up and like, hey, this is my woman.
He was like, oh, you still live? You made it. Oh, okay.
Yeah. She's like, that damn horse, he found you too? Like, damn. That horse was out here on a mission.
You couldn't have eaten that one?
That was a great episode. It was early, and they didn't give us enough of that. That horse finding Isildur in that cave with them damn spiders. Listen, I jumped for the whole time in that damn cave. Yeah. And then they get out there and run into the little pirates.
Is that the same spider that Golem and
I don't know. I thought it was like Shelob and them, but I don't know if it was.
I think it's implied. I think it's implied that it's Shelob. Her family, because Shelob is actually they're really, really old. There's even ones in the first age that are like Shelob's ancestors and stuff. So I think it's implied. I think that's one thing that they are trying to do is, they're definitely trying to, even though they are different creators, Peter Jackson and the movies, and then he's like, they are trying to, there's a lot of callbacks.
Draw some parallels, draw some correlations to stuff that
some
you're
lines,
familiar with.
They're borrowing even lines from, from things and giving them to different people. So there's different things like that. So I think that's another reason why they had to go with like Gandalf, because they supposedly, the Blue Wizards were first. And so that's where a lot of the sort of lore people wanted it to go, was to be the Blue Wizards and have Gandalf later. But I think having Gandalf really ties into all the people that don't really know the lore or really into the lore. So it's a greater populace.
Agreed. Like it's a cheap, like
it's lowbrow.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like where
it's
Star Wars can't get away from
obvious
Skywalkers,
too. Yeah, it's like obvious, but at the same time, we'll see how they fully execute it. I was watching some of the interviews with the creators, and they were for the most part, I've been kind of like holding off on like what they do about Gandalf, or the question of Gandalf or Blue Wizard, and they said that they didn't really know that he was going to be Gandalf until like this season. And I was just,
what?
Yeah, that was
How do you not plan that?
Yeah, exactly. That was
He's
kind of a
major character.
You
kind
should
of
have
a
known
red
that
flag.
going in.
Yeah, it was kind of like a red flag to me. And then I was like, maybe they just said it differently. Like, no, and he said it twice. They said it twice in 2 different interviews.
That's so lazy.
So that was a little concerning for me. But there's some other things that, but yeah, sorry.
know
I didn't
that the
mean to jump
actor
in,
said- Oh no, please, like you got some lore knowledge, so please jump in. I know that when I saw the cast at Comic-Con for season 1, the guy who played the stranger said that he didn't know who he was. I'm pretty sure he said that in the panel. Like, not that obviously the creators don't necessarily have to tell the actor, but like I was like,
they were gonna tell him, but he said. From the interview that I just saw, the most recent one, where he did say that he did say that, Courtney, but he said he wanted to do it more because the character in the show doesn't really know who they are either. So for him to kind of it's almost like method acting, right? He didn't want to know his true identity.
Why did we make the same face?
Right?
Sounds like some BS.
Yeah. So there was so there was kind of the thing, but we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of things but another thing I wanted to say was, the humans, the Numenorians, and the Harfoots and the Stores were definitely the weakest parts. And I could only hope.
Oh, Harfoots, that's what they are.
Yeah, okay. Harfoots. The Harfoots were the first one, and then the Stores. They find the Stores, and you can see what they're trying to play.
The Shorefoot.
You see what they're trying to set up. They're trying to set up that these are the descendants. They migrate to the Shire. They start the Shire, and I think also see why they paired the stranger with the Harfoots, because then that kind of explains later on why Gandalf has such belief in the hobbits, right? Later on, but I feel like it's just
because they had the best sticky icky in the land.
I think also too, it's just like execution wise, right? Like the ideas are good. The not necessarily the ideas are good. The intentions are good. I see what they're trying to do, but like the execution of it is just really clunky. So like you're saying, like Istrid and Isildur, right? Like that was that was just really clunky to me. The whole. Yeah, all of a sudden he's just falls in love with her. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Yeah,
she did him wrong. But also, and tell me please, somebody jump in, because I didn't know if I heard wrong or if I missed a beat because I just turned my head and wasn't paying attention. But I could have sworn that the little gamey prince who came to the town after he realized Isildur, you're not dead.
Farazan's son.
Him. He was like, nobody's going back. You're not going back. We're not taking anybody who's lowbrow or lowborn anyway. And you're not going back either because your daddy is a traitor.
Yeah.
Cut to, next thing you know, Isildur's on the boat. And I was like, just say you weren't taking him or anybody else back home because your daddy's a traitor. But he on the boat.
Yeah,
it's another.
Not only that.
Hold on, there's another bigger one.
Isildur should have been really pissed when he threatened to take his horse and turn it into a meal for everybody. Is it what?
Right?
Yeah, it's clunky. It's really clunky.
But am I wrong?
No.
He did say that, right?
Yeah.
So me and Raquel were both wondering, there's a moment where Arondir is standing up. He's in the middle of the battle and he's fighting.
In episode 7.
In episode 7. And he runs up on
Adar.
On Adar. And Adar runs him through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He runs him through. The sword sticking all out his back and everything. Yeah. And then episode 8, he's like, ha ha. I was like, what?
What the hell?
What kind of lambus bread was you eating?
I
Like,
mean, he can, you
Yeah.
know, maybe he can like what kind of
The
maybe he
super
can
elf.
regenerate.
Yeah, there's
No,
definitely
he-
some
he
glaring
found-
stuff like that. Like there's a lot
He
of
found
glaring stuff
Goku
like
and
that.
got a sensu bean.
There-
Well, yeah,
Some
like
of the-
I mean, it's stuff. Yeah, like that part. I was like, oh no, he's dead. You know, and then all of a sudden he's like not dead.
yeah, he's
And
like, I was
then
merely
you
a
know,
flesh food.
Galadriel jumps off of the
Off
the
the cliff.
side of the
Cliff
mountain,
jumpers.
right?
Yeah.
And we just saw her see Adar put on the ring, and his face, all the acne cleared up. Okay, all the burnt acne cleared up. Okay, that was like clear seal for him. And at no point, and then Elrond's like, "Let me put the ring on, and I'll heal her." And she'll heal. So what we doing? What we doing? You know what I mean? Like it's just stuff like that. I was like, well, you just gotta put that ring on her hand. She gonna be okay. Okay,
Yo, but hold on.
she's gonna be okay.
She jumped off a 1,000-foot cliff. No problem. Gets into a fight with Sauron, slips and falls off of a 6-foot little ledge, and she's crawling all on the ground. I was like, hold on, wait a second. You just jumped off a 1,000-foot cliff. That was what did it? Yeah, the consistencies was just like way off on some of these joints.
Not
I mean,
not only that though. I mean, I know, you know, Anatar is Sauron or whatever.
Yeah.
But Galadriel was nice with it. She is a ranger. She was the top ranger. You saw it in the beginning of season 1. She's killing everybody.
Yeah,
this
and her
season,
hand-to-hand
she
combat was clunky.
Yeah, in this season, she could barely kill regular orcs. Like she, you know, I just what are we doing?
Why?
I know
And her
a lot
horse
of people.
left her.
I heard that the internet lost their mind with the kiss between Elrond and Galadriel. You know, now I know
Well,
it's
yeah,
for a
because I
purpose.
mean, he
Implied
marries
that they
her
were-
daughter. Her daughter is not even. I don't know if the daughter is not born yet or what, but like that's about to be her son-in-law. And I
It's
know
just,
again, like we
it's-
also haven't seen
yeah.
her
Man, pulled a
husband.
Leonardo DiCaprio. He was like, "Oh, you a little old, but your daughter's the right age."
He's terrible. He's terrible.
Oh, man.
Oh my god. Oh my god. God.
And then another thing I was gonna say too, like I know a whole lot of, and I even heard this from Chuck, a whole lot of outrage for these 2 seasons is the amount of characters of color in here. And it's not from a straight racist point of view, but they said that Tolkien himself was a bit of a racist, and there was no characters, you know, of any race, men, elf, none of that was of color in the books, which, okay, it's 2024. We in a different age now. However, Muriel held it down. She held down Isildur's father. She held it down.
And
Disa
she
held
was
down
blind.
Prince
And
Durin.
She
held
battled,
down
but
Prince
Muriel,
Durin.
she battled the
The,
whale.
Well,
The
just
yeah,
one,
the Valar,
one
the Valar blessed
clarification.
her, said you good.
One clarification though, there the Harfoots are literally, it's like literally the first line of the whole book. The Harfoots he did say that they're browner of skin. So
Yeah.
The Harfoots are
Yeah, he
definitely
did.
of
And
color.
they're the only ones not
Yeah.
brown.
He did.
Except for
So-
Sonic the Hobbit.
But I mean, but
And
they
then
made the leader and the people of the stores. That was a black
Sonic
woman.
the Hedgehog Hobbit.
was-
He was the only one of
oh.
color.
That boy's afro was out of control.
Yeah, and,
Yeah.
and then
And
as
She
far
held it
as
down.
nobody.
the
I'm gonna name him nobody. Like
I think the only one that I have a problem with is they made Istrid the little beige girl, and I was like, wait a minute.
Wait.
I said, does that mean that Aragorn is part black? Because I didn't see that coming.
but I mean it's like 300 years in between Aragorn.
I mean, it's
Isn't it?
a whole lot of
Or
years.
it's like a
but I mean,
3,000. It's like 3,000.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
about to say. I thought it was at least 1,000.
yeah.
Istrid? I'm trying to just
mean, I guess. I mean, that's still his wife, and Aragorn still comes from the line of Isildur. I mean, you know.
Well, doesn't he
I-
look
I-
like he chose the name Strider? Doesn't that strike you as somebody who's a little bit black? He got a little something in there. He was getting it.
I mean, he hopped out the water, and it might have looked like his hair might have napped
I
up a
mean,
little bit.
he might be of the.
Early
he might be of the Robin Thicke, the Travis Kelce before Taylor Swift variety. I don't know, but
You
okay.
know, he
Sure.
might have brought some sexy back.
I mean, sure, he just looked dusty, so I guess.
How
That
did
wasn't
y'all
dust.
feel-
Maybe it
How-
wasn't
how-
dust.
How did y'all feel about the delay of the Balrog? I was just
I
wondering.
was
Why?
waiting for it for so long.
Why?
Yeah.
We
For
waited
so
8
long.
episodes.
And I'm like, why did he just now show up? Like,
And then
I was
they gave us
disappointed.
they Darth Mauled him. It wasn't even
Dang.
5 minutes of screen time.
Yeah.
He didn't die.
It
The
was the
Balrog
opening. It
didn't
was-
die.
It was
No,
literally
but
the
what I'm
opening
saying is-
sequence, and we never
What I'm
saw
saying
him
is the
again.
best thing
Oh.
in the Phantom Menace, and he's on the screen for less than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
We've
Oh.
been waiting an entire season. We knew the Balrog was coming. Everything alluded to it. We knew it was coming. And then he is on the opening scene of episode 8. It's a couple minutes gone. And I was like, what the hell? No.
Yeah.
Not now. King Durin, that was one of the most G things. Like,
Oh,
now
it
that's how I
was.
the
God,
episode.
talk about
But
going
that
out
was
your
Went out like an eight.
I
I
loved it
mean,
even more.
He
I was
didn't even,
like,
he didn't even
hell
need
yeah.
the ring. He like set the ring down and was like,
Yeah.
"Hold my beer."
Yeah.
He looked back
went
at
out.
him and was like,
But
I'm
I
always
respect
angry.
it. I
Yeah.
respect the try. I respect the try.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah.
super dope.
It
Super
really
Yeah.
was. And the flames
didn't-
coming at him when he made
Yeah.
his major leap. I was like, you better
Mhm.
go ahead on.
That's how you go out. Look,
That's how you go out.
me and Rakai was like, that's how they start the episode. Let's go.
Yeah.
And
We
then
need-
it just kind of went like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like right there, what I say? I said, okay. I said Simone Biles about to get this gold medal.
Oh yeah, we were
And then
fired
as
up.
the episode went on, it's like, why she keep falling though? Why she keep falling? Oh, she ain't even
But
gonna get
that's
on the
what I
medal
mean.
stand with this.
That's what I mean about writing, like how you structure it. Like that was so amazing. They started us up here.
Yeah.
That should have been like that should have been like the midpoint. So we were like building. We see him go out like a G, you know what I mean? And then we get to the sadness.
But not only that, in the
Why you do that
penultimate,
to
they gave
me?
us so much dopeness in episode 7. Episode 7 was dope.
Yeah,
Then you start at episode 8 like that, you're like, oh, they might about to be stick this land, and they might about to.
But you
Nah.
know what? I needed Anatar to I needed an outfit change before he started battling folks. He out there in the elven robes and just barely moving. It was like Weekend at Bernie. I'm like, what you doing? You are so boring. You are the most boring villain ever. And like to like Centel's point, which he always says, you know, it's all about the villain. And he did have moments of like, yes, episode 7, like, you know, his reveal to Celebrimbor, like, what you think was going on? You know what I mean? Like that was hella funny. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, Celebrimbor, what did you think was going on? You out here looking around like the birds are shining, the sun is happy, and la-di-da. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing, bro? Like
it was the best gaslight I've seen in a minute.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, he is the
eight
gaslight
episodes of the
Olympic
gaslight
gold
god.
medalist.
Yeah.
yes. Even the little girl whose name Celebrimbor couldn't remember, he was like, it's okay. And next thing you know, he go out, he was like, yeah, he ain't right. He ain't right, people. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the new lord. So like when
But hold on. Anatar was gassing her up and making her think she was important.
But
Soon
she was about to get
Celebrimbor said,
married.
no,
She
no,
knew she was getting married.
He's Sauron. Y'all need to be. And he's like, get off me. And then Anatar flashed his hand, and it looked like Celebrimbor threw her off the cliff. Oh well. You know, I was like, hey,
That
this
was
dude is
savage
ruthless.
work. Yo, she hit the ground
He
hard
did.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
She got blood coming out of her mouth from the land. Yeah.
Yeah, and all I kept thinking was like, dang, she died thinking Celebrimbor pushed her.
Mm.
I was like, dang, now how come
Savage
she
world.
didn't heal up like Arondir?
She didn't get one of them sensu
She didn't fall
beams.
that far. Yeah, she didn't fall that far.
Those orcs came in and
They was
Oh.
like, ooh, meat's back on the menu, boys.
Fresh meat.
Mhm.
Wow.
Now, even though we talked about this, and I do want to move on, we beat this dead horse. I do
Okay.
want to bring up one person who we didn't talk about.
Okay.
And what we talked about him, but we didn't talk about him. I think the unsung hero of this season is Celebrimbor. I think the way that Celebrimbor, like it would seem there would be Anatar because he was the gaslight master and he was using Celebrimbor and then turning all the elves against him slowly but surely. He turned all of Oregion against him. But the way that Celebrimbor acted, like he went through a whole stage of emotions. It's almost like he went through a 12-step program in these 8 episodes, because he went from his hubris and his pride was out of control, and yes, I created this thing of power, brought back the elf, brought back the trees and all this, and and even where Anatar used it against him and was like, hey, are you sure we should be doing this? Maybe we should ask the king. No, they don't understand. We got to do the work. We got to make these rings.
That was kind of.
And then when he slowly started to figure it out, and he played along, and then just in the way that he came up, and he told, and I hate that's where they stray from the books, where he told off Anatar, and it was crazy because you haven't seen that from Halbrand, Anatar, Sauron, where he told him off and he's like, no, I'm the lord of this place. Y'all take that dude into custody. Man, Sauron dealt with them so quickly, and so I was like,
that was pretty. Like when he turned them around and they were like,
yeah,
they ended up killing each other in a
killing
circle,
each other
like that actor circle, like you giving each other like shoulder rubs.
Yeah.
But it's also
how
kind
now,
of a,
brown cow? How now, brown cow?
But them being in a circle is also kind of a reference to the One Ring and how the One Ring you'd have that same power amplified with the One Ring.
Hold on, how about when Anatar was in there
I didn't see
torturing
that.
Celebrimbor, just using them for target practice?
For target practice with the arrows.
Yeah, that was just evil. That was just wrong.
Yeah.
Hold them all.
I mean, that
up,
man
like,
had cut off his own fingers to get out of his handcuff.
Yo, but I thought that was a super dope pivotal moment because he had to destroy the thing that defined him, and those were his hands, and he had to cut his thumb off. Like he had to make that choice, and that's when he realized, I gotta salvage something, and if I have to sacrifice the thing that defines me in order to salvage it, that's when I was like, okay, you all right with me again, Celebrimbor. I just hate that he had to go out the way.
Not only that, remember when he got outside and he found Galadriel, like I wasn't even convinced that was Galadriel. I was like, he didn't change. Anatar didn't change. That's you know what I'm saying? Here, give me the rings. I'll take him. I said, oh, that's him. He didn't changed up. And we found out that was really her. But then,
she didn't want him though. She didn't say he had to force him on her.
Yeah, he did. And but when he's like, and she's like, no, you're the best engineer, you got to go. And he's like, no, I'm Oregion, I got to stay. And I was like, boy, if you don't get on, like this man been using you for a hot minute, you need to go. And he just didn't go. And like you said,
it's like a captain in his ship.
All of that was a complete departure from the books.
Yeah,
and
he doesn't die.
Yeah, and I don't
Celebrimbor, he doesn't die, right?
No, because he went to Numenor and
he goes to Numenor.
Oh, I know he dies
in the books.
I heard he dies in the books, and like I don't know if it's there, but he gets waved around like a flagpole by Sauron.
Really?
Yeah, because that big staff where Sauron killed him. I think is a reference to the books where they pick him up.
Celebrimbor was his banner. The body of Celebrimbor with all the arrows in it became the orc's banner. At the siege of Oregion.
At Oregion?
Yeah, at Oregion.
I didn't think he died at Oregion.
No, he dies at Oregion. Yeah, so he dies at Oregion. His him impaling him on the spear and pushing him up against the column is kind of like a reference to that. So there was a lot of people that wanted to actually see it because basically.
I mean, they still could. It could just be a rotting corpse.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I think they will. They'll probably
3.
like season 3, probably like a cold open. They'll open with him, the orcs marching, and then Celebrimbor's body, with the arrows in it on the spear as a banner. But yeah, that's definitely in the books. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and
So as
he does die in a
round
way,
third,
Oh,
as we
Farazan. We didn't talk about the nonsense that was happening in Numenor. I know.
The actor that played his thing in the Discovery of Witches. That's the
Was he in Discovery of Witches?
yeah, that's the one who left
yeah, you
season
said that's
3.
the one who he wasn't in after season 1 or whatever. That's what you said.
Season 3, yeah. He was the brother of the
Oh, Snapdragon. That was him.
Mhm.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
wondering if he was in Rings of Power, because that's probably the
Yeah.
reason why he wasn't in season 3 of Discovery of Witches.
Oh,
Yeah, they
yeah.
gave
That
him more
can't
lines, gave him more
be.
parts. He's like, all right, I'm out.
And more hair,
I
too.
get to be the king over here.
Yeah, they got
I don't
on my
know, but
last nerve. I'm like, see, this
yeah,
is why Numenor fell. Y'all deserve. I was like, y'all
everything that was
deserve
going on with
everything y'all
Numenor.
got.
They're also kind of dumb. They're just like,
And
oh,
no, and because the bird came in for her,
yeah.
and he like totally claimed it. Oh, the bird's here for me. No, the bird is
Yeah.
here for her.
Donald
one
Trump
guy-
that ish.
That one
He
guy.
sure did. He sure did.
Well, the funny thing is,
Like,
he had
that's the funniest shit.
the funny thing is he had that one guy. He's like, Farazan, Farazan, and everyone's like, oh. And they just kind of followed that guy in the
I mean,
audience.
it's nothing different than what we see in some political rallies that's going on right now around the country. You just stealing stuff that don't belong to you.
Yeah.
It's just like they, by their religion, by their set of standards, they sent her to the sea to have the sea
Kraken.
deal with the Valar. Said, you good. You
Yeah.
know, she's innocent. Then he's like, you know what? I don't care nothing about the old sea gods, the sea monster.
He
We changing all the rules.
Right, we
Everybody
changing all
believing
that.
that. Everybody
He's
about
believing
to go
that's
to
now a
jail.
traitor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just I mean, Elendil, the dad.
Yeah.
He was totally Ned Stark. He Ned Stark that boy. Like, you gotta be a man. Let him live. Let him live. Don't become. And next thing you know, the kid stabbed him in the back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is war, fool. Do you not know this is war? Like, what are you doing, Ned Stark?
There's a reason why all of the other races, if you looking at the humans, like
Side-eyeing the men.
Yeah, the elves and the dwarves, they be like, nah, we don't rock with them. They too
Yeah.
stupid. They be like, you giving
Celebrimbor
them
was like,
9
we can't
rings?
make them rings.
You giving them
were
9 rings?
Yeah. They turn on their mama.
Wow. I'm like, whose idea
All right,
was
so-
this? Okay.
So, any standout moments for each of you in this season? I'm gonna start with you, Catherine. Standout moment to you.
The dwarves. I think that I don't know. I just liked everything about the dwarves. Like, well, not everything, but like I just like being there. We need like a side episode of just focusing on the dwarves and their life. But I think the king going out and killing or not killing, but attacking the Balrog, Diza. And I did like Celebrimbor. I think I do like the dialogue between Sauron and Celebrimbor. Gosh, the words Celebrimbor. But I think the Celebrimbor sequences were nice. Yeah.
Okay. Courtney.
Like, why are you coming to me? Gosh, I'm really struggling here. I mean, other than what Catherine said, like the scene with the dwarven king, like King Durin, that was a standout moment for me. And like, you know, like the reveal to Celebrimbor, like the reveal when he actually saw his cat. Because the whole time I was thinking, like, is he just working in a busted up castle? Like, how does he not know his castle been attacked? You know what I mean? It's gotta be. Is there no air conditioning? Like, he should really know. You know what I'm saying? Like, shouldn't he smell some smoke? Like, how do you cleanse all the senses? You know?
Yeah,
So
that was a cold-blooded glamour.
It was because he went out and looked around, and when everybody was happy, cut to he goes back in the house and everybody running back like, kids. You know what I mean? Like that to me was pretty cold. You know, like that was pretty cold blooded and really really powerful. The horse. You know, I got to give the honorable mention to the horse. That's my standout when he came through. For Isildur, like That horse. He can't. Yeah, that was the horse from what was that terrible short movie? There was the play. God, War Horse.
Oh
Oh.
God.
That was War
wow.
Horse.
Oh, you actually put that in
Oh.
your throat. Oh, I can't even.
Oh man, is horse that bad?
I had to. It's really bad. It's really, really
awful.
bad. It's
I
one of the
don't
worst
know.
films ever made.
Is
And
it?
I heard the play is
Spielberg film?
amazing.
Yeah.
But anyways, like the horse, that's my standout. I'm gonna go with him.
All right. Centel?
I can't think of a moment that we haven't already talked about. The Durin one is probably one of the most gangster moments of the season for me, and we've beat that to a pulp. So let me talk about
To a dead horse.
yeah, that part. The relationship with Disa and Durin to me is really stand out. I loved that relationship. I loved that Disa recognized that her prince, her future king to be, is struggling, and she's like, I need you to get right for us, for all dwarves, and I need you to do something that's probably gonna be the most difficult thing in the world, and that is to call your father out. And Durin, and I felt Durin to the bone. I'm like, that's my dad. And even when he had that moment when he was talking to his dad, and his dad was like, yo, you pull that axe, you better use it. And he was like, Dad, you're the strongest person I've ever known. You know what? How could I even remotely go against you? And that moment does not happen without Disa. And to me, when it came to the heartfelt moments between the characters in this series, I think it begins and ends with that relationship.
Okay. I think for me, I think I would have said King Durin going against the Balrog. I think I would have also said the horse and Isildur, and then Arondir showing up. But I think if I'm gonna go a different route, very similar to Disa and Prince Durin, I'm gonna go with Miriel and Elendil. When she was talking to him and telling him, listen, the fate of Numenor rests on what you do from here on out. Like when she was telling him, no, you have to stay clear. You got to keep your head about you. Don't get baited by Farazan. They're looking for a way to get rid of you. You are the strongest person here. You're the most dangerous person here. The entire kingdom will rally behind you, but you got to do what's you need to do to stay clear of this mess, and have faith in the gods or the old whatever. And he couldn't do it. Oh, dude, said something.
But he
Said
did.
something about Muriel, and he fell apart immediately. He's like, I'm talking about, because he's like, all you gotta do is kiss the ring. Ain't nobody here to see you, Otis. Kiss the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
And he's
sorry.
like, you know what? Middle fingers to y'all. Nope. She the queen. I ain't doing it. And then she stood over there like, I just talked to you 5 minutes ago. Like, I told you play the game. Like, he's like, nope. I'm going to jail on my honor. His daughter came and talked to him. She's like, Daddy, just play the game. He's like, listen, you done started this shit. I ain't listening to you. I ain't got nothing more to say to you.
Yeah, that's the only thing I want to see in season 3 when Isildur shows up and he was like, "Look what you did." Well, I was did it for you. You died. Look what you did.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't fucked up. You didn't fucked up.
Wait.
He's like, my horse is more faithful than you.
Wait, was this the dad?
Okay, so we know that you know what I just realized too? I didn't before, but the king of the elves, Gilgalad.
No, his face. He had zero facial expressions for 2 seasons. He was,
yeah.
Even when he was fighting, he was.
Yeah.
But I realized this season, I was like, where do I know that dude from? And I was like, I be damn. He's out here fighting orcs. Last time I saw him, he was fighting vampires when he was Abraham Lincoln. I be damn.
Wait, what?
That's Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter. Him and Anthony Mackie.
Oh.
Wait,
yeah.
Oh.
I
knew him
definitely
from
missed
somewhere, and I didn't know where I knew him from.
Yep, that's Benjamin Walker. It's Abraham Lincoln, vampire hunter. Him and Anthony Mackie out here fighting vampires.
That's so funny you said that, because when I said the whole moment, like, you done fucked up, you fucked up now. That's from like
Yeah.
the kids in the what is it when they did the Abraham Lincoln skit, and how he was mocking John Wilkes
the whitest kids you know.
Mhm.
Why did you know?
Oh, that's a deep cut. Yeah.
Gosh, that's almost over 11 years ago. Jesus.
Uh-huh.
Didn't need to.
What'd you guys think of the music? Speaking of, because he had that really cool song when he sang.
I know the Orcs had a metal song, like the Orcs.
Or just music in general, and
Well, I think the one thing about this series, and of course, because we know that this is Jeff Bezos' passion project, and like Centel pointed out, $500 million they done spent on this. It was supposed to be slated for 5 seasons. They've done 2 so far. They've already greenlit season 3 and season 4. I don't know if we'll get a 5, but it's already greenlit for season 3 and season 4. The one thing about this is, coming from Peter Jackson, Weta Studios and all that in New Zealand, beautiful.
Well, this is
Set pieces are beautiful, costumes are beautiful. Like this, they have laid out a beautiful world. You can't scrimp on what Peter Jackson's already laid out in 6 movies.
It's not shot in New Zealand.
It's not. Where's it shot at?
I think this is in England, because that was a big like thing from last season.
Are those on digital stages?
They shot first season in New Zealand, and then they moved to England in season 2.
I thought it was England in season 1, because that was the big
it was New Zealand in season 1, and then they moved to London in season 2 because Amazon as a whole is bought up a whole studio out there, so they're going to be doing a lot of the Amazon stuff.
And that makes sense, because that's why season 2 you don't get as much scenery. They didn't do as much scenery, or they did set pieces they already had. You didn't get as much scenery as they did establishing in season 1. But costumes, a lot of stuff is beautiful. The music, the score is great.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, in regards to your question, Rodney, I definitely think that the music helped to enhance certain scenes. And the guy who did it, he always comes to Comic-Con and does this like amazing arrangement performance with the music.
Bear McCreary.
Yes, Bear McCreary. And he looks like he should have been Gandalf. He should have been Grand Elf. But I think it's really powerful, like what he did. Like, I really like it.
I enjoyed his music up until that point when they had the orc, the secondhand dude to Adar, and he was like, but you're betraying your people. And then he looked over and his wife and his baby was there, and I was like, what babies? The music, the score went right out the window after that. I was like, hold on, wait a minute. They got babies?
Yeah.
And you brought the
orc daycare was closed that day. the orc.
I mean,
it was a holiday.
I hate to
was closed.
I mean, I hate to be that, but it is lore. It is lore that they had wives and babies.
There's a meme about that.
In the battle?
No, in the legendarium. Yeah, in the legendarium. Yeah, they had the orcs had wives and babies. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's not a problem that they had orcs. That they.
But I will say,
save my monstrous family.
Yeah, there were some moments where the music really was doing the heavy lifting. But overall, I think the music was amazing.
Yes, I want everyone to see my little baby, Mud Duck 1.
Babies are like.
There's so many memes about like
meat's back on the table, son.
Yes, there's so many memes about like orcs, that orc baby sequence. They're like, oh, we didn't need to know.
So-
We did.
I think I
didn't
blocked
even know
out the
that.
orc baby. I don't even think I saw
no,
it.
it was
it's
it was big and
horrible.
bright as day. Like it's
What?
like, wait, what the
Was
hell
it
are we
episode
doing?
8? Was it
It
8?
was
No,
early.
no, it's
It was
early.
like episode
Yeah.
2 or 3, somewhere around there.
This
It's
episode
early.
2. Yeah.
Because it's when Adar really starts talking about, the orcs as his children, and and then his children have their own children,
Mhm.
and all this old bullshit. But
Oh.
and I know that it's lore, but the problem is like the way, everything that we saw this season was really clunky, and the way they did that whole scene was clunky. There's another way that you could show us that orcs have families too, or whatever. I mean, you're not hatching these damn orcs out of eggs. They're coming from somewhere, I mean, the
they come in the
Urukai
old-fashioned
from the
way.
movies, they was hatched, but Saruman was hatching their asses. That's different.
Hilarious. I thought of a cool callback moment, not necessarily a standout moment, but it was a cool callback in the sense of like when this season started, we saw Anatar be killed by Adar and the orcs, right? And so for them to call back that moment where he is killed and stabbed with that crown,
Same
and
way.
then they stab Galadriel with the same crown in the exact same way, and the way that affected her, it was the reason that she couldn't be healed by or she wasn't herself like healing in any way, so I thought that was a really cool callback moment where they brought that out, like use that crown for more than just like decoration, like it was the thing that, even though they thought it would kill Sauron.
Well, I mean, no, but you're
Yeah.
right, because there was 2 callbacks in that. So the fact that they killed Adar in the exact same way that he killed Sauron with his people, his children killed him, because they said Adar actually is from the Elvish language that means father. So his children killed him the exact same way. And then the callback to the crown, not only in stabbing and killing Sauron that way, but that's also the way it wouldn't heal Galadriel. Is a callback to when Frodo got stabbed by one of the Nazgul's blades, one of the race and stuff. And that was the reason why at the end he had to travel to the west with the elves and stuff, because even though he had healed, he didn't heal all the way. He had to leave the land of Earth, Middle Earth or whatever, because he wasn't quite healing. And I was like, okay, yes.
So yeah.
So,
well,
seeing the way that this ended and it didn't quite stick the landing, we know that there are already 2 more seasons. What are we expecting from the remaining seasons?
I need to
Anybody
see
can jump in here.
Mine's pretty simple. I just need to see some epic battles. I certainly understand the importance of the lore and sticking to it and the talking head points. I get it, but if you want to recruit something back, you gonna have to entertain.
Yeah,
you have to, and I think the best way is to get some epic battles going through.
Okay, Catherine.
Yeah, battles and yeah, I guess for me, I'm like, I really just don't want the Dark Wizard to be Saruman. I know that's not a big, like, that's not high off the checklist in terms of everything else, but there was speculation that he probably might not from the cast and crew, but again, I don't know, since Gandalf was not revealed, and like they did not know what to do with him until this season. So yeah, epic battles, please don't make the Dark Wizard Saruman. Please don't. I know it's just I would have a hard time watching the show. More dwarves. More dwarves. Give me more dwarves. Just need a spin-off show. Dwarves. I want to know about how they got there. I want to know about old prehistoric dwarves. Yeah.
I'm gonna jump in here. I like where you were going with don't make the Dark Wizard Saruman.
Yeah.
He looks like him. And since we got the lazy reveal that the Grand Elf, the stranger, is Gandalf, it looks like they would go that way. The thing is, whatever the asteroid, whatever the meteor that brought the 5, the blue wizards brought the 5 wizards, we've got 3 of them already. We got the Dark Wizard, we got Grand Elf, and we got the bargain basement Hagrid in Tom Bombadil.
Yeah. Oh man.
Because that's all he is. He is a bootleg Hagrid.
Yeah.
Tom Bombadil is supposed to be really awesome in the books.
Exactly. He's supposed to be the Yoda of this piece, and
he's not a wizard.
he's supposed to be some kind of. He's supposed to be some kind of.
No, I'm saying he's not a wizard. He's not one of the wizards. There's 5 wizards.
He's like a brown something, right?
He's the eldest. It's hard to explain other than he's
supposed to be like a god, right?
No.
He's like one of the oldest beings. He's it's hard to it's really really hard to explain. Because he's very ambiguous in like exactly who he is, but it's like he's not a wizard. He is one of the oldest things. Yeah, he's one of the eldest beings in all of the lore. And he's so I think that's the reason why,
I know he's not one of the blue wizards, but I mean, he got power, so mama called him.
He is really, really powerful. He is really, really powerful, but he's also very, very ambiguous in the sense that like no one really knows what he is or what he does, and even Tolkien doesn't really fully explain like his role within the whole thing. Other than that, he is the eldest and that he is really, really powerful. But he doesn't.
He's like a storyteller.
He doesn't really feel like he's not supposed to be there to like interfere with like the happenings.
He's like the watcher.
So he's the watcher.
He's the watcher.
Very much like I would say the watcher. But so it was really interesting the take that they did go with him to make him kind of like a Yoda type figure where like he is sort of like guiding Gandalf and trying to guide like the wizards to like their purpose. So
I'm kind of glad he wasn't in the I'm kind of glad he wasn't in Lord of the Rings movies.
Again, like I said, like he's really out of place in the books in the sense that
he just moves certain stories on. Like he's like almost like a man. Like he delivers. You know what I mean? Like he moves certain parts of the story along.
There was a TikTok where
he doesn't have much purpose.
Yeah, there was a TikTok where the guy described him as Tom Bombadil is basically like the Star Wars cantina in Star Wars, where it's there, it's cool, but it doesn't show up anywhere else in the novels or the story.
Yeah.
And it played its part, and that's all it was. But it's interesting that they did include him, which is, and I guess like the role that he has in the sense that he's kind of like guiding Gandalf and guiding the wizards to their purpose, because it is true in the story that when they do arrive, they do lose their memory. So they all do lose their memory.
Oh,
at one point.
What are you talking about? Who loses their memory?
The Maya, the wizards.
The
wizards.
Yeah.
They do lose.
That's why
their
the
memory.
stranger couldn't remember who he was.
So that is accurate in the sense that they lose the memory. So the idea of him being like a Yoda type figure is interesting. It's an interesting take.
But the Dark Wizard claimed that.
Here's what I was going to say to Catherine's point, and because I didn't think it would make much sense, especially if they reveal the Dark Wizard to be Saruman, then the relationship between Saruman and Gandalf at the beginning of Lord of the Rings makes 0 sense.
Yeah, that's definitely they can't do that in that regards, because they're friends until he betrays them.
Yeah, they're friends until they're not.
Yeah. So, but there were there were 5 wizards that are known. There's the 2 blue wizards, which they went to the east, but other than that, they didn't really play too much into the Lord of the Rings. And there was Saruman, Gandalf, and Radagast, the Brown. So,
that's what I was thinking of, the Brown.
Yeah, Radagast.
And we saw Radagast in Hobbit movies, right?
Yeah, Radagast was in the Hobbit movies, and then so those just point of clarification. Tom Bombadil was not a wizard.
Centel, you got that look on your
Okay.
face like you don't
Yeah,
remember
I
right
don't, I
again.
don't, I don't know
Yeah.
the lore, so I'm like, okay,
I-
I gotta.
Yeah.
do
Yeah,
some
I knew there
research.
was a brown. But in terms of like what can I say jump in like what I was looking forward to seeing?
Yeah, the only thing I was going to say was two things that still have to be done at this point. We know that Sauron has to make the One Ring.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, we got to see Isildur rise up, and he's got to make the One Ring. And then the other thing is, you heard the allusion to it. We know that King Durin left the ring, and even though as much as he talked about he don't want it, Prince Durin eventually puts the ring on, and it gets him, And you heard his little partner, his right hand man, dude, tell him, your father didn't name you as the dude, so your brother's laying claim to Khazad Dûm like the other elf lord. I mean, the other, dwarf lords they coming. So he's got to consolidate his power, and he puts on a ring. And to Catherine's point, yes, more dwarves. So yeah, go ahead, Courtney.
I mean, you kind of took one of mine.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, okay, here's my question. In The Hobbit, when Thorin takes back the mountain, isn't that Khazad Dûm?
No, that's the Lonely Mountain Erebor. Erebor. It's Erebor.
It is Erebor. Yes, it is.
Erebor, and that's the
okay.
Lonely Mountain.
I know it was the Lonely
No,
Mountain.
they went through Khazad Dûm in the Fellowship of the Ring.
Fellowship.
Fellowship.
Yeah.
Okay. So another the one thing that I really wanted to see, the One Ring is coming, so I'm really check for that. It's gonna happen. I want to see Isildur. I want to see him cut the ring off Sauron's finger, but I figure that's not gonna come until at least season 4. If we don't get a 5, it'll be 4.
I think it's going to end very close to that battle. I think season 5 will be the end of season 5 will be that battle.
That whole season should be that battle.
Yeah.
You should give us the entire season.
There's a lot of speculation like in the Reddit. I'm sorry, Courtney. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, everybody keeps jumping out.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But like, yeah, there should be
Can I finish?
Yeah.
Can I finish?
Yeah, let Courtney finish.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, I want to see Isildur, but again, I do think that it is going to happen probably not until if there is a season 5. If there's not a season 5, then it'll happen in season 4. I want to see him cut the ring off, and I want to see them like how he lose, like does it end there? Does he lose the ring? Like what have you? But the main thing I want to see next season is I want to see Numenor fall.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see how it falls. I want to see the giant wave take it out. I want to see Anatar come there with the 9 rings, because he was supposed to have already done that, but he's coming with the 9 rings. So I want to see how that happens. And obviously we're not going to get, those ring wraiths, or I just want to know who they are,
There's speculation the little boy is going to be the ring wraith. The bad boy, the one, the son of the...
Theo?
The one with the orphan boy with the child.
Yeah.
But he would have to be one of the kings of men, and
that's the speculation though, that he's probably gonna be king, and
so he's gonna grow up and become a king of those men that were, all the men that was around where he lived.
That's the city that Isildur is supposed to take over, right? Because Elendil gets a city. Elendil takes Gondor, right?
He founds Gondor.
He founds Gondor, and then Isildur, he founds another city.
I think Arnor.
Arnor, yes.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's where they were.
Well, there's speculation.
As a matter of fact, because Isildur consolidated his power and joined those 2 cities together after he cut off the One Ring. After he refused to give up the ring, he consolidated, and those 2 cities were under his. What?
Does he lose it in some water?
He dies.
Well, no, he gets killed by the orcs.
Yeah, he gets killed by the orcs. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, until that time, he didn't die immediately after he refused to throw it in the volcano. He just.
Yeah, because they told him to destroy it, and he was like, "Nah, I'm gonna keep it."
There's 2 possibilities for Theo. I think there's two possibilities. Is one, yeah, he could be one of the ring race, and then two is he could be the leader of the men that betray Isildur, that become the ghosts that Aragorn calls upon.
The rogues, the striders.
The ghosts that Aragorn calls upon to fulfill their oath, and he fights in the Return of the King.
And Return of the King.
Yeah, and Return of the King, where he goes through that that really cursed land where basically they're all cursed. Because Isildur put the curse on them because they betrayed him, and they So the lore was that there was a group of men that swore allegiance to Isildur, and when Isildur asked them to come to his aid, they refused, and so he cursed them to be ghosts until they fulfilled their oath. And so when Aragorn goes in and he asks them to fulfill their oath, that's who he brings to the Battle of the Pelennor Fields. So there's speculation that Theo will be that. There's also speculation that Theo will be to go off and found Rohan. And be
one of the
Rohirrim, to found Rohirrim. But we'll see. I mean, obviously, the son is definitely one of the ring race. That or the mouth of Sauron.
That's soon enough.
Yeah, Kemen, that guy, Farazan's son, is gonna definitely be one of the.
Well, there's talks that he might be in the mouth of Sauron.
The mouth of Sauron, yeah. I think he would be perfect for the mouth of Sauron because he's just, that guy needs to,
So I know, Courtney, you gave what you want to see for next season. Catherine, you gave it. I gave it. Centel, did you get a chance to give what you want to see for the following seasons?
Yeah, I was saying more battles. I kept it kind of simple. Definitely more battles.
You did.
For those that don't know the lore but still want to, be entertained. Yeah, just battle me out.
Battles. Yes. Let's get some fighting on. Yeah. All right, I think we have beat this poor. Not Isildur's horse, but we didn't beat the other horse. We didn't beat it to death.
Beat all the horses.
Isildur's horse is awesome. He need a pair of wings. He need to become a Pegasus. He need to get above this mess. Let's rewrite this thing. So I will start. I'm gonna stay where I'm at a mini meal. After our discussion, I can't really move down. But I don't see any reason to move up, so I'm gonna stay at a mini meal. Let's go. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I second that opinion. It needs work. It needs work. But it's not so bad that I'm not gonna check out season 3. So that's a good thing, and there's still potential for them to turn the ship and wow me. And I'm hoping you can do that.
Okay. Courtney?
I up until you just said Courtney, I was literally about to go down to a mini meal. But because I talked to myself, all the things that I had more hot button comments than I had positive things. So I was really about to go down, but I think I'm going to stay just because I want it to do well. I wanted to do better, and against the odds of all the haters and the reasons that they changed certain things for season 2, I hope they change it back and give us back the badass Xena warrior Galadriel. I would like to see her come back. And I definitely think that there's enough goodness, really good stuff there to just enhance that. So I'm gonna stay.
Okay.
Plus the dwarves are just badass.
Just need to consistent sniper.
And Catherine in Kazakh Doom, what do you think?
I'm gonna keep it where it is. I like this. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna get closer to my mic. I like this better than the first season. It's just I think there's just a lot more interesting things happening. Yes, it's messy. There's a lot of issues. I do not like the Gandalf reveal. I think that was the weakest part for me. But yeah, it has issues. Hope they fix things for next season, and they don't have people getting stabbed and almost dying, but no damage. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's like a what is that? Who did Michael Bay? Like it's like a Michael Bay when they're with all the ladies that don't get any grime or dirt on them when they're fighting in the Transformers
Mhm.
movies.
yeah.
Yeah.
And even like for some reason it reminds me of Catwoman when Catwoman teleports when she's looking to see what's outside, and then she's in the next sequence she's like behind something.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
All right. So we have 2 mini meals and 2 full meals. So we stay exactly where we were at 3.5, which rounds up to a full meal. So, it's flawed. It's definitely not perfect, but it's still got some potential. We've got some hope for it. So, um, any last words from anyone?
Yeah, real quick shout out. Yo. Huge shout out to Catherine Shirt. Boulder's
Have a great Thursday.
Peace
Okay.
out and good night.
All right. And I want to again, Catherine already said it. Thank you to Digital Click. Thank you to Crystal and everybody at Digital Click. They make the most wonderful graphics. And if you have any marketing needs, any digital needs, Digital Click is definitely the people that you need to talk to. Thank you to the greatest technical producer in the land, Mr. Rodney Cajudo. Thank you, sir. And the voice that you all hear, that was Rodney. That is our technical producer. And as you can see, he is quite knowledgeable. And for once, he has watched the series at the same time we watched it. He didn't have to be
Yeah, he should have
away
been
from the
on.
keyboard. He didn't
Rodney,
have to be
you should
away
have
from
been
the
on.
keyboard. Yes, he should have been
Yeah.
showing that
I wish
luxurious mane he got. Y'all didn't see this
definitely
brother.
wants to be, like you said, we've been having OBS
Yeah,
issues.
he's
so
working
I'm
though.
sure, yeah.
He's working. Shout out to
Good discussion, though. Good-
Randy. Shout out to Randy, who was on Geek Beast that came on before this show, and to our other founder, Chuck Babb, who's probably watching in the wings right now, but he had not finished the show, so he didn't get a chance to be on with us tonight. We will be back next week. What we're watching, I'm not sure yet. We'll talk about it. There are several things. The fall season is upon us, and there are several things that we will be back, and we'll be a little bit more consistent. We've been off a little bit because we had to wait for some more shows to come on. So there's a few things that we could go into next week, but we will put out our graphics and things very soon to let you know what we be watching. So make sure you watch your Instagram, watch your Facebook, watch everywhere. We're going to be promoting. So with that said, good night, and we'll see y'all next week.